Hello, my unbroken ones. This is Jay Starling with I Am Unbroken podcast. I hope you're having a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year, a great life. And if you're not, you're the only one that can change it. Remember that. Today, we're going to be talking about a little thing called respect. You know, just not the song. If you're a little bit older, you might remember that whole R-S-E-P-C-C-T, you know, the whole respect going on there. And we're going to talk a little bit about how I've noticed men and women look at it differently. It can be different. And it's not always just men and women. Some people have the same theories around respect. Some people don't. Some people find some things disrespectful that others don't, which was really interesting for me when I started talking to people about, hey, what do you find disrespectful? What do you find disrespectful? Let's start with what respect is. It's really something that when you observe somebody else, right, that you are showing them that you are giving them a place of honor and a place of consideration in your life. All right? By not showing someone respect or disrespecting them, you are showing them that either you don't honor them or you are not really considerate towards them. Okay? It might not be the official Webster's Dictionary version. I'm not going to break that out. Just going to give you my version of what I commonly agree with other folks of what we can say, yeah, that's respect. If I feel like I'm being honored and feel like the person's considering my feelings and considering things about me, I feel they respect me. Different than trusting you, different than some other stuff, but respecting you. So, truly to be respected is, I've heard both respect is earned and respect is given. Okay? And there's two sides to that coin. When you meet somebody new in your life, some people immediately go, well, I'm not going to respect this person until they earn it, till they show me that they honor me, until they show me they're considerate of me. The other thought process is everyone should have a basic respect for everybody else. There's just respect given until they prove that they don't respect you. And then some people say still you should respect them. Others are retaliatory and go, nope, they don't deserve respect. One thing for sure is if you don't feel respected, you don't feel valued. And that can make it very difficult to want to help that person do something else or help them move forward. It can be very difficult, especially coaches, people that coach other folks. They have to feel like they are respected, and the people that are being taught have to feel respected. If they're feeling they're being disrespected, it's often hard for you to be able to coach somebody if they don't feel like you respect them or at least understand them. So let's go a little deeper when I was talking about between men and women and respect. A lot of men feel like when the woman's running behind, or vice versa, women do this too, men do this to women. We'll make it just a personal. I hear more from men, but then again, I talk to a lot more men, right? But let's just remove that because now that I think about it, I know some women that say the same thing. We'll call it tardiness. What happens when you're late? Some people are like, they just know I'm going to be late. It's no offense to them. I don't mean to be offensive. I'm just always late. A lot of people look at that and go, well, then you don't respect me. You don't respect my time. My time is not honored by you. My time is not considered by you. Therefore, you don't respect my time. And if you don't respect my time, I'm going to stop giving it. Okay? That happens a lot to a lot of the people that do respect time. Now, when you bring it that way to people, a lot of them try harder. They do try harder to be aware of the time, and they try harder to make sure that they're available when they say they're going to be available or where they need to be. It also has led to the term ish, if you have not heard this. I'll be there about 1-ish, somewhere between 1:30 and 2-ish. So that way, if they show up at 1:30, you're like, oh, hey, I'm here on time. If you show up at 1:49, I'm on time. 1:59, I'm on time. 2:05, well, that was part of the ish. 2:15, that was part of the ish. I told you 1:32-ish. I'm not a big fan of ish. Ish is not one of my favorites. I'm not even sure I like the ranges that much. A half-hour range that can be difficult to plan around. Okay, if I'm getting ready to do something, I'm just gonna sit around for a half hour and wait for this person to show up, or am I gonna plan something to do in between there? And if they show up, great. If they don't, then if they show up earlier than the 2, am I going to be in the middle of doing something and have to stop doing it, come back? That can be bad. Can I put something in my life that if they do show up, it's okay? If they don't show up, it's okay? Do I leave like washing dishes there? And then if they show up, oh, hey, I can go now and I can wash the dishes later. What do you put? I'd like to hear that from you guys. What would you do in that situation? Put it in the comments for me so I understand. Get a little reader or viewership ideas out of this one. What do you do when someone gives you that time frame? Do you just like sit on the couch and be like, well, if they show up, I'll be ready. And if not, I'm just going to sit here. Or, do you play with the cat if you have an animal? Do you play with the dog? Play with the kids, throw them in a cage. I'm just kidding about caging kids. No, that's not funny. But yeah, don't cage your kids. Okay, bad thing. So on a serious note, though, time is a big respect thing, okay? How things go in your life depends on how people respect you and how you respect others. And it's interesting the perception of what is respect and is not. So would you say that it's disrespectful if you would tell somebody that, man, you really got drunk the other night and you didn't remember something? To me, you're just relaying a story. To others, that can seem very disrespectful because you're bringing up something that might be a sore point for them or something that they don't want to acknowledge in themselves. And I hadn't really thought about that until I was talking to a friend the other night. And they had admitted, oh, yeah, I had gotten, I got a little out of control. And I'm like, yeah, you got pretty drunk, yeah. And later they told me they were really felt disrespected by me for telling them that. And I apologize. That was not my intention. And I understand where they're coming from. And I will be more careful with that individual. But to me, it didn't seem like it was going to be disrespectful. And I can understand how now someone could find that disrespectful. So it isn't always intentional that someone's disrespecting you either. That's an important thing to understand. You've got to put it in context. Did they mean to do it? Did they know they were doing it? Was it intentional? Now, the first time somebody's late, let's go back to the time thing, they may not be intentional, right? But if it's a chronic thing, that's when it builds into, they just don't respect my time. Same thing about maybe in business. Business is another place I see it all the time. People wanting to be respected and felt like they're not being respected, right? Job titles generally come with a respect factor. If you are the CEO of a company, people generally respect the title, and they expect the person to be respectable that's in that title. That doesn't always happen at some businesses. It'd be great if it happened to everyone. It'd be great if the person that was in the role always should be respected, but it doesn't always happen, and sometimes it gets out of control. Even in a manager's role, okay, or a supervisor's role. You can start in any role that has to start relating with other people. There's project managers that are very important to be respected because if they're not, things can get out of control. Every one of those roles are looking to be respected, but where we often don't think about that is team members want to be respected by those leaders as well. Typically, you think about the people that have been there a long time, they need to be respected. But you also need to be respectful of the people just coming in that might have different views and different ways of doing something. It doesn't always mean that the people coming in are uneducated about what's going on or things in your company, or their opinions don't matter, right? Well, you just need to learn how to do it our way. Well, sometimes their way may be better. So they need to be respected enough when they come into the organization to listen to and then evaluate the best thing to do, just not the way it has always been. That doesn't mean John, that's been there for 26 years, doesn't know what he's doing. That just means Jill, that was just hired a year ago, may have better understanding of current technologies or current ways of doing things that could help Jim do his job better. So you need to respect both sides. When does respect get broken? Well, there you go. When we talked about, hey, I don't feel honored, that is typically where we see it broken in companies where, hey, you didn't honor my understanding of what the problem was, and you just jumped to this conclusion that would fix it. And I told you that wouldn't fix it, but you didn't honor my time that I had here. You didn't honor the fact that I have a higher degree than you do, and this may be a better solution than what you guys have ever tried before, and you weren't willing to try it because you said, I've tried things like that before, and it never worked. Continuous improvement's a famous one for this. There was a big fad in the 80s and early 90s where we were talking about continuously improving everything. And in manufacturing, it was good, but it got taken the wrong ways. It got taken, what it was originally for was that you would improve things, and then once they were improved, then you would take and look and see, okay, what are we going to do with these people that we've now improved, and how are we going to use them then to make things even better? You're supposed to roll them back into your company and make things better. Unfortunately, what American companies did is they just fired those people. So there got to be a very bad thing with, we're going to lean the company out, turned into a bad word like lean, meaning, okay, we're going to fire people versus we're going to use the lean tool sets to make things better for everybody. Got a really bad name. So they even had to rename that whole thing of lean manufacturing. A lot of times you'll hear people say that, and the guys who have been around since the 80s and 90s are like, oh no, don't do that again. That means they're getting rid of people. To a continuous improvement. We're going to continually improve things. Again, the scary part was when people were from the 80s and 90s, they were like, wait, these are the same tool sets they used to fire people for. Took a lot of re-education to try making sure people understood, no, we're not trying to fire you. We're just trying to understand how to do the job better. And then once we understand that, we need to help those that helped us be better, help us make even be better again. Okay, but a lot of companies only look at that as a cost savings and they get rid of it. Scared the bejesus out of a lot of folks. So what happened there? Well, that they lost respect for the process. They lost respect for the people that came in and said, don't worry, everything will be okay. Don't worry, we're not trying to eliminate your jobs. Don't worry, we value your input, and then we'll fire you next week. They didn't honor those people. They didn't honor the bond that was there, right? They really just discounted them, and that's why they felt disrespected, and that's why they still, to this day, a lot of them do not like that terminology where they talk about, we're going to lean things out. We're going to make it more efficient. Those are keywords for them in their brains. I'm going to get disrespected. They're not going to pay any attention to what I'm saying, and they're just going to force me to do this, and then they're going to get rid of me. So a lot of different things for respect. A lot of men, I said I was going to talk a little about differences I saw between the men and the women. A lot of men feel disrespected when in the dating scene. A lot of questions lately, like, okay, well, why are men seeming like they want to be the ones that want to be wooed and are the prize, and the women are the prize? I've seen that multiple times on social media lately, and a lot of it has to go back to this respected thing, right? There used to be a respect between men and women. You went on a date, the guy paid for it, the woman, I'm not going to say like fell head over heels for the person because it didn't always work out, but at least there was a respect between them of like, well, thank you for taking me out. There'd either be a plan for a second date or not. And there was respect between the two people of, okay, well, if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. And okay, we just don't do it again. There's been a lot lately that I've talked to some of my friends, and it's turned into, well, I took her out, and then she plastered all over social media what a horrible person I was because I didn't, because I tried picking what food she wanted, and I was talking about what it was, and she felt pressured by that. Or, I asked her to go first, and she wanted to go second because she wanted more time, and I felt like I was rushing her, or any of those kind of things that don't seem like a big deal to guy, but it was bothering her, and he didn't know it. But then she blasted all over social media, so people start thinking that this person's like a bad person, you shouldn't go out with them. Instead of resolving it between the two of them, we're just, hey, okay, it didn't work out, we're going to move on. Same thing on the other way, though, with the females. I've heard from them about how horrible some of their dates have gone, where the guy tries to force them, well, you're going to have this meal. Well, no, I'm not going to have this meal. I want to pick out what I want to pick out, right? I mean, totally understandable. Or, well, we're going here. Well, I don't like to go there. But, well, I'm the one supposed to pick out the date. We're going here. Interestingly enough, I've heard of the other complaint where they didn't feel like they were respected because the guy didn't pick everything out and was asking, hey, what do you like to do? Where do you want to go? Well, you're the male. Just pick out what we're supposed to do. And then when they pick something out, they're like, I don't like doing that. Pick something else. And the guy kind of feels disrespected at that point. Well, wait, you told me to pick something. I picked something. I asked you first, and then you didn't do it. So there's things in every relationship that people can pick out and say, hey, I felt disrespected about. Whether it's at the very beginning of a relationship, middle relationship, even end of a relationship. As we're going 20 years in a relationship or 25 years in a relationship, 30 years, there's new things that can come up and feel, wow, I feel really disrespected by that happening. And you have to communicate between that. I am not a perfect communicator. I might be decent on YouTube, but I am not the perfect person yet to talk with communications with the other sex that we have out there. Any of them that have been on a date with me can tell you I am not the perfect communicator. Anyone that's a friend of mine can say I'm not a perfect communicator. But we all have to try learning better and try understanding what disrespects, what makes people think that they're being disrespected, or are you just don't care and you don't respect them. I mean, there is that other part. There are some people that just do not respect other people. Hey, I'm going to be my way, and if you don't like it, tough cookies. That comes across very disrespectful without understanding, hey, these are the issues that person has. This is why they have those issues, and what do we have to work to break them? Now, it doesn't mean there isn't times you don't need a kick in your rear end, but it's normally done by friends, not by people that you don't know, and hopefully it's done in a more loving way than just get this or move forward or that's it, you're done. So hope this podcast helped. Hope that we've had a good conversation. If you didn't like anything I said or you object to it, put it in the comments. If you like things I said, put them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.